Hi, I'm Mike Borja. I'm here with Benedict, who is the lead singer of Louden Swain and also plays Chuck the Prophet on Supernatural. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Mike.
Excellent, excellent. So how did you end up on Supernatural?
I auditioned and met with the director and a couple producers of that episode, and so when I first went in, I didn't know. We just thought it was a one-episode deal, but then they turned it into this recurring role, which was cool.
Fantastic, fantastic. Rob, have you ever seen the show before?
I had seen parts of it, but never really seen a full episode. And then after I got the part, literally on the plane ride, I was watching like past seasons, so I could sort of catch up on who these guys were, and because my character is supposed to have created this whole storyline, so I've got to know what I'm talking about. So that was my research. I was actually watching the show.
What was the screening process like?
It was like I read the script and I went in and met with them and I auditioned. I did a couple of scenes. I think I did the scene where I first meet the guys, and then I did the scene where I'm kind of getting drunk as they're telling me that who I am and that they're real, and I'm figuring it all out. So I did those scenes, and and then they hired me, and that was that.
Were you cast for an angel or a demon, or specifically Chuck the Prophet?
No, just for Chuck. It was for Chuck, and there was that was the episode. It was all about Chuck, and so I went in for Chuck, and so that was kind of all I knew at that point. Was where that episode. And it was funny, that episode ended, and it said "to be continued." And so when I was up there, I was like talking to like Jensen, I think, and I was like, "Hey, so it says to be continued, so that's kind of cool. Wonder what we're going to do in the next episode." And he was like, "They all say to be continued." So that was like, "Oh, okay, oh, great, yeah, no, of course they all say to be continued."
Can you give us any indication of how often we'll see Chuck next season? Will he become a walking, talking 411 for the Winchesters?
I don't have any indication of how often we're going to see Chuck. I know I just got back from doing the first episode of the next season, and I know I'm going to go back again in a couple of weeks and do another episode. So, I think they're just going to kind of keep going to Chuck when they need the kind of information. They tend to go for Chuck when they need answers, and it's an interesting character to play because I'm protected. And yet I'm protected by the angels, and yet I'm not necessarily, in line with what all the angels are doing and want to do. So it's cool. It's fun to be on the good side, be on the boys' side.
What do you think Chuck's role will be in the whole heaven versus hell versus the Winchester thing?
There's a lot I can't say, but it's going to be a great season. Judging from this first episode I just did, it's crazy. So it tops where it left off last season. It goes even further in that direction. So you definitely see a lot of angels mixing it up, and so get ready.
All right. So listen carefully. It's a two-part question.
Okay.
All right. Would he be just a prophet, a messenger who provides information, or would he have more of an important role to play?
Definitely looks like. And you never know with this show. Everybody's always like, I could die tomorrow, and and then come back as my twin brother. You know what I mean? But it's the indication seems to be that I'm looking out for Jensen and Jared's characters, Sam and Dean, because I have a fondness for. I've written them, so in my world, I'm like their father, so I'm definitely worried about them, worried about protecting them. At the same time, I really don't want the burden of being the prophet. But it's kind of like that's what I am. So that's sort of my drama of what's going on. Is like I found out I'm this prophet. I'm scared to death of all the like supernatural things that are going on. But the main thing that I care about is these two characters I've created. So it seems to me that I'm kind of on their team and helping them out. But they're getting creative in ways that I can go about helping them without the angels knowing. That's sort of going to be an ongoing thing. But like I said, the cool thing is that I'm protected because the angels can't destroy me because I am a prophet. So,
did they prank you so far?
Oh, there's nothing like that. Although they're very large guys, they're very big guys. Jared is like 6'4" or something, and I'm not that tall of a fella. So the first day that I met them, they were talking about the fights that they watched the night before. Those UFC Ultimate Fighting Championships, the dudes in the cages and whatnot, which I'm not down with. I've never watched that. So they're talking about like, oh yeah, what's the name of your blood? You watch the fights? I was like, I'm not no, but interested in the, you know what I mean? And they were talking so animated about these fights, these UFC fights. They're such big dudes, and I was just like, you know, pretty intimidated. But I have to say, they're like the sweetest guys. They really are, like the nice two guys from Texas, and like just couldn't be nicer. But big fellas, intimidating to a little guy like me. I had to do a scene the other day with Jared where they had to put me on a box so that they could hold both of us in the same shot, because they were shooting it and I was out of frame. They couldn't see me, so I had to put me on a box, which was awesome and humiliating.